Hello and welcome. Welcome to another episode of Project Airwaves. This is Lynn.
Hello. This is D.
How's everything going, everybody? D, how have you been? What's been going on with you lately?
Bro. Been a lot of self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going through a lot of mental turmoil as far as trying to figure out work.
Right.
Obviously, for most of us, if not all of us, it's mainly just been trying to get through like those weird, tough times where you go into like a mental funk where everything feels like it's on hold and you're trying to figure out what to do to get your life started back up again. Real life more than anything, like a little too real for my liking.
No, I get it. It's a reality check. This weekend and the weekend prior to hit me like a ton of fucking bricks, man. I'm trying to just kind of catch my balance, kind of get my equilibrium going, because right now I feel like I'm suffering from vertigo. Everything's just completely flipped on me. What I've been learning and what I've been paying attention to more than anything with myself is that I'm keeping the flow going, making sure that my motion is still consistent and that I'm not just hunkering down and wallowing in whatever kind of shitstorm that I'm trying to deal with. The work weekend was a fucking bitch to go through. We are short-staffed per usual, because upper management likes to make cuts when they shouldn't be making cuts at the wrong time. But I'm making the most out of it. I'm looking at any situation that's happening at work and in life right now and trying to fucking grab that bull by the horns and make my bitch.
Speaking of bulls by horns, you got into a fight.
Yeah, it was work related. But with how my job is doing security with the casinos and the clubs, us being so fucking short staffed, over the weekend, I believe it was on Friday, got a call outside of one of the clubs that there was a fight. Valet came running out to grab us when we were in the back hallway for the club. Half of officers had been sent home and the other quarter half of them had been up in a domestic call.
Nice.
So with myself and maybe two other officers running up to this call, turning a right sharp corner, going through those glass doors and seeing that it was an all-out fucking brawl. These people were beating the dog shit on each other. There was one guy laid out on the ground, belly out, t-shirt wrapped over his face, and your adrenaline's kicking. You're trying to figure out what direction I need to go into, where I'm supposed to go, and I've been doing security for so long that I've gotten accustomed to kind of getting that sixth sense of like, all right, if this dude's laid out in front of me, that means somebody had to just knock this guy out. Didn't even take me more than a fraction of a second. I peeked my head out, I looked to the left, and there are 10, I kid you not, 10 guys beating the crap out of each other. It looked like I was watching Animal Planet. I didn't know what was going on. There are limbs flying, people's shirts are going off, there's spit everywhere, blood. It's hard to say, man, but with security, especially when it comes to a corporate standpoint, these guys don't teach you how to fucking handle shit like that. And you can't observe and report because you've got people beating the crap out of other people, and some of them are really getting hurt. So it's all about that mindset of, it's a fight or flight. Do I step in and try to fucking control the situation, or do I step out and just let these dudes beat the shit out of each other? I picked for scraps. I got my hands on two guys. One guy tried to swing at me, dropped him down pretty quick, went to go put him in restraints, grabbed another guy, pinned him up against the wall. So I'm sitting on one with one foot and holding the other one while trying to understand the situation of, what else do I do? Thankfully, the third-party security company that was working for the club came out to help try to detain everybody, but it all came around that concept of, had I not done what I'm accustomed to doing when it comes to my training with my jiu-jitsu background and everything, grappling, there would have been no protocol. There'd have been no way. And it sucks to say, but when it comes to corporate standpoints and upper management, they don't see, especially on graveyards, the black and white of, hey, shit happens. These fights happen, situations happen, and it's fucking scary. Thank God, I got a little banged up. Besides the guy that got KO'd, we were able to take a good amount of people back to our casino security office, contact Metro, get them cited, get them out, get everybody held accountable. But it shouldn't have been 3-officer, 10-person brawl.
No, that's a shit show.
Because, at the end of the day, we all look out for each other's backs, but it should have been controlled a whole lot better.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and from my experience doing security, I already know, you're overworked, underpaid. That whole Paul Blart Mall cop is bullshit.
It is total bullshit.
People think, doing security that you just sit around on your ass eating donuts with cops and stuff. And it's like, no, my company wants me to damn near be a Metro officer while legally maintaining some type of sense of self. So it's like, I got to make sure I don't get the company sued. I got to make sure somebody doesn't want to take us to court. And it got on my nerves personally, because it's like, when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the middle of a fucking fight, no one is thinking about, okay, what is he wearing? And I got to make sure officer, I get how many shoelaces he had on his left shoe, and he had a scar on his right eye that looked like Pee Wee Herman. No one's thinking about that.
Man.
In the thick of it.
There's no trying to remember bits by bits. I don't expect a lot of people to understand. And like I said, I'm not like a fucking professional fighter or anything like that. But I've been doing security and any form of like mixed martial arts for long enough to kind of know when adrenaline's kicking. Right. The first thing I'm looking for is either if either someone is attacking me, or I have to control who that person is attacking.
Exactly.
I'm not going to look at what kind of shoes they had, what shirt they had, and they do. They put out bolos, be on the lookouts, or ATLs, attempted locates, when people do turn into incidents. And there were, when the fight happened and they saw security running out, the 3 officers that could fucking run out for a 10-person brawl because everyone else was on the other side of the fucking casino. People dipped. They fucking took off. They got a couple hits in. The people that weren't diehard into trying to beat the crap out of each other, they ran the other direction. And you had officers that were trying to chase after them and run across to the other properties. And it's like, realistically, we're not cops. I'm not going to fucking chase you on a foot hunt and try to go in. My moral compass, though, will jump in if I see one guy getting the shit kicked out of himself.
Of course.
Because I don't want
help.
Exactly. I don't want somebody to be like, if that was me and I see somebody watching me get my ass beat, I'm gonna look up like, hey, motherfucker, put your hand in and get my ass out. Because if not, I'm going to end up getting the shit kicked out of me. It's all about that moral compass of knowing right from wrong, but also, CYA, cover your ass.
Oh, yes, all day long. And that's the thing with security. A lot of times when you're showing up to the situation, you don't know who's the bad guy or the good guy. You don't know who to protect and who to hurt.
Good fucking point.
You know what I mean? So you're going in blind. The only thing you can do, which is pretty much like a cop, is taking a quick account of the situation, know what's going on, and either prepare to whoop ass or prepare to, help like kind of de-escalate the situation. And so a lot of times, especially when I was doing security, de-escalation wasn't an option, unfortunately. A lot of times people just wanted to fight. You're dealing with crackheads, drug addicts, alcoholics, pimps, prostitutes, everything you can think of shy of cops themselves. Well, no, that's not true, because I've dealt with retired cops that I've had to choke out a few times. Same. I've choked out a few military people. No offense to you guys, love and respect, but hey, those military ball parties get rowdy, my guy. And so, just a lot of times where it's not even me coming at you as a security guard. It's me coming at you man to man, man to woman, man to child or teenager, whatever the fuck you are. And it's me trying to assess the situation. Right. Are you a threat?
No. You're getting the ballpark of what you need to do in order to make the situation actually controlled for you. Because, going in, we're human. We're going to go in, we're going to make mistakes, but we're using tools, a shitty situation with the best possible capability of how to get it the fuck under control. My aspect, and what you guys will find out down the road more than anything, is my job throws me fucking curveballs every week. The hardest thing that I'm getting in is balancing life and work, because I have to take on this fucking persona that I'm a nice and caring and loving guy. Like, deep down, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I care about everybody in my circle. But if you get on me and we're at work and the situation's hitting the fan, don't fuck with me, because I will put your ass down just as fast. And I have no restrictions when it comes to making sure that I don't get hurt and the people I care about don't get hurt. In exchange, if I have to put you in your place because you decided to decide a fucking fight out of nothing. We're coming in with these situations with the fucking domestics and the fights and like I said, the working girls and the fucking homeless people, which we call vagrants.
Yes.
That we're going in with the mindset of you always have to be prepared and be ready, because you don't know how these people are going to act.
Right.
And my biggest thing is that the reason why I train my body to get my mind ready to handle this is because I don't want the people around me that aren't trained like me to get fucking injured at the same time.
Right. And that's what makes it difficult, because to some extent you become a human shield.
Right.
You have to make sure that you take care of your people. You got to make sure you take care of you, and you got to make sure you take care of this potentially innocent bystander. Or in some cases, you even have to protect the bad guy from people who want to hurt him, because you got to write up this report, or you got to make sure you do your job. Being a security guard is never easy, no matter how you flip it, twist it, or anything like that. So, when I see people making fun of security guards, it kind of gets on my nerves, because it's like, look, shy of the cops, the security guard is your first line of defense. Depending on the situation and where you are, that security guard is going to have your ass. They're going to cover you. They're going to protect you. You can even call it a motto at this point, is observe and report.
Right.
But as a security guard, as a person who cares about other people, when I see somebody in danger, I don't care if I'm wearing a suit or not, I'm jumping into action, because that's how it should motherfucking be. You should jump into action. It shouldn't take you being in a uniform.
Right. No, that's good. Having the right morals, the right mindset. Obviously, some people take on being a security officer, take it upon themselves just because they're there to collect a check.
Yeah.
And they're there to do the observer report, not do anything. But you've got certain locations in certain places, especially the job that I work at, where I've been told this before, is that you try to come in as Superman or as the Punisher.
Yes.
Or any kind of superhero to think that, maybe you can make a difference. Maybe you can change an outcome of a situation. I know there's a lot of times when calls happen and I'm hearing it over the radio. Hey, this person is doing this. And in my mind, it's like, what the fuck? Why are you doing that?
Right.
Why are you acting like that? Why are you letting it get to that point? If I was there, I'd handle it differently. It's a learning factor.
It is.
What I've experienced and what my job has turned into more than anything is it has taught me how to control my mindset on things. So to get off of that, just my weekend was just, it fucking sucked. It inside of work and outside of work, I had some emotional turmoil of what I need to do and what my mindset's going to be like. But I know another thing which me and Dee were going to touch base on, or at least something for me. I've been listening to this podcast.
Oh,
Seth Rossi. I mean, hopefully down the road, that'd be nice to be able to actually reach out to somebody like that.
Hey now.
He's got a podcast called The Hard Working Motherfucker.
Right on.
And the whole concept of that is to be true to yourself, living for yourself, making sure that you do what you want and enjoy the life you had. And if anybody gets in your way to try and stop you from becoming who you are, regardless of what their situation is and how they feel, fuck them. Get them out the way. Push past what you need to do. Get yourself in a good situation to where if you do need to take care of other people, you can, because you've got yourself at the end of the day.
Right.
It's helping me change my mindset to think that, listening to other podcasts and actually taking on the persona of other people's shit, the experiences or trials that they've had to go through in order to make themselves become a more stronger and stable individual. In doing that, it's giving me that idea of, I have a plan.
Yeah.
I want this podcast to grow. I want things to fucking get better. And I'm going to push past all the emotions and all the negativity and all the pessimism to be optimistic, to be stronger, to do shit for me.
And that's the difficult part when you try and do that balancing act of life. It's, like we talked about very briefly in one of our past episodes, we like taking care of people. And so on that balancing act, when you're trying to help somebody and you're not in a position to help, it sucks. You beat yourself up twice as hard as you would have if you had just fucked up.
I am just as fucking bad as that. I am a glutton for punishment when it comes to that shit.
Yeah, it can't be helped. And that's along with working security, it's taught me how to keep a level head and to how to deal with situations of heightened emotion and or aggression, because that's life. Like, doing security is just really, you're an outsider looking into other people's lives. And from time to time, you get a taste of what's really going on in that person's life for a hot second. And sometimes it ends up with them leaving in handcuffs. But it taught me to observe, for most part, to take a step back, take a look at the bigger picture, observe my surroundings and take in the whole thing, as opposed to just looking at that one little part or that one person or that focusing on that one thing they said. I need to get the whole story. I need to get both sides. I need to get the full picture. So a lot of times when I'm listening to podcasts and stuff like that, I do jive with people that Lynn likes to listen to, because I feel that if you're going to help somebody, you better be in an equal or better position to them.
That's so crazy that you hit that spot on. I was picking off again with HWM podcast was I'm gonna take people's advice and I'm gonna listen and kind of chime in if someone's willing to pitch me something in order to kind of better my situation or change my mindset. I'm gonna listen to you, but don't give me fucking advice if your life isn't any better.
Right.
I want you to either be equal with the shit that I'm going through or be doing better, because if you're telling me, hey, I need to do this or change my persona, when your shit is far fucking worse than mine, you don't have any business trying to tell me anything. I'm not learning anything from that. I want people that have gone through the shit and actually experience, the shit that work puts you through, just relationships, life, trauma with family, friends. But then I want the up parts of it too. Like, I don't need all the pessimists. I need the optimistic of, hey, graduating from college, getting a fucking bachelor's degree, going into something that you're going to enjoy more and more without any negative feedback. Because if you're giving me a mindset of knowing that, hey, I know I'm going through a rut, but you're telling me there is a light at the end of the tunnel because you're starting to fucking do better, and you have proof that you're doing better, dude, I'll follow you to the fucking end. I don't know everything.
Give me something to go off of. Give me a general direction to point in. And I think a lot of times some people fuck up the balance. Some people want too much direction where they just want to be told where to go, and then other people fuck up where they don't want to be told anything at all and could care less about what you have to say or your input. And it's just a bad way of looking at things. You have to be open to the balance of life. You have to give a little so you can take a little. You have have to take a little so you can put back twice as much. And then that way, when that person comes by, it could be a stranger, best friend, family member, loved one, whoever. When that person comes by, you're now in a position of potential giving. Just like me and Lynn talked about, Lynn comes to me for advice and I go to him for advice because obviously we're best friends and I know what he's gone through and he knows what I've gone through. So he's not going to come at me asking me about some shit that I've never been through before because he knows he's going to get advice, but he's not going to get potentially relevant advice because I'm just, going off of what I think I know or some shit that I may have heard from somebody else.
Yeah, no, it's more or less being able to adapt and change to different mindset. I'm going to straight up say is I don't fucking know it. I don't know everything. Right. I know a lot. I've experienced a lot, but I'm one person out of a billion people on this planet.
Right.
Like I know that I don't know everything, and I do have a pattern which most people do where if I'm being told something that I don't want to hear, in my head at that time, I'm shutting it out. Yes. But then it takes me time to fucking download it and be like, you know what, when I'm by myself, damn, that was some actually good fucking advice.
Right.
Why didn't I think about that? Why did I not invest in what that person was telling me? So a big part of what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change my lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm still into fitness. I'm still into training. It's more or less what I was gonna, asking D about is about trying to find a new job, finding something. I want this podcast to thrive, and this would be a great source of income.
Right.
But realistically, still got to pay the bills.
It's gonna take time.
You guys will be hearing this more and more and more down the road, especially for every week that we record. There's so much hands-on, physical, mental, and emotional strain that being a security officer at a big-time casino does for you.
All day.
That it fucks with you. It fucks with you, and it changes your mindset, and it turns you into someone that you don't want to be.
Yes.
So what I'm learning from that is that I'm going to take in the negativity of everything of it and find the fucking good in it. Find a reason why I can actually use this for my next task. Changing my lifestyle in order to better my opportunity so, I can actually state and say I'm enjoying life.
You touched on looking for new work because prior to the line of work I'm in now, which is call centers, womp womp, I was doing security, and I actually recommended to Lynn when he was looking for a change of pace way back when for him to do security. Security is one of those jobs where either you stay on and you become somebody and you retire, or it's just passing through. It's a stepping stone, you know what I mean? And so with me, security, it got to a point where I only saw the dark side of people because I worked graveyard for 5.5 years.
Same.
So all you do is you... 5.5 years, my guy.
Are you serious?
Yes.
It doesn't feel like it was 5.5 years.
No, bro. I felt it every day.
How many locations did you work at?
I've worked at 4 or 5 different locations. I've worked at 2 casinos. While I am not batting for the other team, I have worked at a gay club, 2 of them actually. And yes, gay people are awesome when they're drunk. I've been all up and down the strip. Yeah. I've worked at a nightclub similar to Lynn. I've seen it. So a lot of stuff he has to say, especially about his line of work. Oh yeah, I've been there, done that. I've spent those nights on the strip at 1 o'clock in the morning, New Year's fucking Eve, fucking freezing cold outside. You can't feel your fingers or your toes, and some chick's walking down the street butt naked with some fucking vodka or alcohol in her hand, and you're just sitting there going, wow, that's great. Yeah. All right, I'm going to be picking you up in about 5 minutes. And no, not in a sexual way, from a security perspective. It's not all fun and games, so don't get it twisted. Just because we're cool, calm, and collected about some things doesn't mean we ain't been through some stuff.
It's pretty much embedded into my DNA at this point that I'm always going to be on alert. Whether it be when it comes to relationships, when it comes to my job, when it comes to family, friends, any kind of scenarios, like I feel like I have to mentally lock my brain into thinking, all right, shit's going to go wrong and shit's going to go sideways, and the only way that I know that I can control it is if I fucking pay attention to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I need to make sure that I'm performing at optimal performance. When I train at the gym, regardless if my body's hurting, I'm making sure I'm training at optimal performance. So when things do happen, I'm fucking ready. I'm ready. I don't need to lean on anybody in order to make sure that I get everything done and that I push myself. I'd be a hypocrite to say otherwise, that I do tend to procrastinate and I will lean on friends and family. But at the end of the day, who has you but you?
Right.
I was looking into trying to, catch a movie or anything sometime this week just to give me something to do, trying to do the family thing and see if I could feel anything outside of the mindset of thinking about work. Did you see that they're gonna be trying to reboot Saw?
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
And it's got it says, I can't remember what the name of it was, if it's called Spiral or something, but it's Chris Rock that's doing it,
and Samuel L. Jackson.
Why? I've only ever seen these guys in comedies. Like, I've
Yes.
seen Chris Rock in nothing but comedies, never a serious role. I mean, it might be good. It might have the concept.
Right.
Like I was saying, I'm going to go in open-minded, hopefully thinking that maybe it'll be enjoyable and maybe that it'll be something it'll give me something to look at.
Yeah.
I was hearing about, did you hear any comments about Bad Boys?
I've heard good reviews about Bad Boys. I'm glad they made it because I think all of us were hungry for it anyway. After we saw Bad Boys 2, we were like, all right, guys, come on, you got to make a number 3.
So my mindset is what's your thought on Will Smith? Because I saw Will Smith fell back because a lot of the movies that he'd been making was just getting bad reviews.
Yes.
Aladdin crapped out.
That was garbage.
Gemini Man crapped out. He was making something else. He was making movies left and right, and then Bad Boys came in the clutch and it broke box office.
Yes.
Like, that's a movie I do want to see because I think he actually took the time to make that shit right.
I think what it is a lot of people don't like, especially when you get used to an actor or you're introduced to them in a certain genre, you don't want to see them deviate.
No.
So a lot of people didn't like to see Will Smith deviate from the funny. You know, like 7 Pounds and I forget the other one, but Pursuit of Happiness, which I have not watched Pursuit of Happiness. I don't want to cry.
It'll break your fucking
I cried
heart.
like a bitch watching 7 Pounds.
7 Pounds was
and
rough.
it was only like the first 10 minutes of the movie and I'm in tears. But then you have movies like After Earth, which I thought was amazing, minus a few critiques here and there.
Yeah, with Jaden Smith, that actually wasn't bad.
It did terrible. People hated After Earth, but I loved it.
I've learned to not take Rotten Tomato or anything else like that. Like, critics are gonna be critics.
Yeah.
They're gonna nitpick at the little things and what they feel like, how he's supposed to be.
Right.
And how you feel. Every movie isn't meant for every single person. Every genre of music is different. I might like heavy metal. You might like, R&B and soft. It all depends on the concept. Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. I've heard mixed reviews. Now, obviously, you guys are hearing from my responses. I'm not much of a movie fan. I used to go, me and Lynn used to go to movies every weekend religiously back in the day. But, as you get older and you kind of see that movies are going in the same repeated pattern where they're either copying an older movie or they're spinning off an already named title, like how we had to deal with this most recent Charlie's Angels again. That nobody really asked for.
No.
Even though the box office sales were decent, probably garbage.
I never fucking thought about
Nobody
it. Nobody
needed it. Nobody wanted it. You know what I mean? Everybody wanted a Bad Boys 3. Okay, you can ask anybody, and I'm sure you had the young generation and the older generation there because Bad Boys itself, Bad Boys 1 and 2 was amazing. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith are an amazing fucking duo.
Yeah,
they are funny as shit.
They do phenomenal.
And they know how to do action. When you give me a cast of people that are from different genres, movies I haven't seen before, or even from just a different generation, I'm not going to be as into it because I don't know these people. I'm an older dude. I'm in my 30s. Consider that older if you want. I like the old school stuff. So when I see Will Smith, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my boy Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's my boy Bright. Bright was a great movie.
Bright was
I love that
Netflix
movie.
one.
And it still got bad reviews too.
Still got bad reviews.
So it's one of those things where broaden your horizons. Be open to people doing things out of the ordinary. So I'm looking forward. I'm going to wait till, the new Bad Boys comes out on like DVD or Netflix or
which is
whatever.
It's a rarity for me to actually want to go to a theater unless it's like I got a friend of mine. We would go religiously hit up the any of the Marvel movies.
Oh yeah.
All leading up to all the Avengers.
Oh yeah.
Because that was just like, all right, waiting for it to come out. It's cool to go check and see. Go fucking check it out. Enjoy the fucking movies because all the Marvel movies have always been good.
Right.
The Avenger movies are good, but a lot of these movies I'm just gonna wait for them to come out. Like the new Sonic that got made.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's a 50-50. It's like, I saw the animation for the first time. I don't know if you saw.
Did
you see what?
Fucking gorgeous.
So did you see what it looked like before though?
Yes, after they redid it.
Oh my god.
He didn't look like some weird human with a birth defect of blue hair.
Exactly. It was it was a
creepy.
monstrosity. But the cool concept about it is that they brought Jim Carrey back.
Yes.
Because Jim Carrey hasn't done anything in such a long ass time. I feel like it's gonna be enjoyable.
Yes.
The box offices right now, they have a bunch of movies coming out. The last one that I'll touch base on, which I'm sure we're gonna be hearing a lot about, is when Fast 9 comes out.
Don't do it.
9.
Don't do it.
9 fucking movies.
Why?
Of the same concept. The movies were good when they started. And now
the first movie was good.
The first was good. 4 and 5 are good.
Yeah.
It's gotten to the point now where they're making it a little bit too unrealistic, and like they even did the Hobbs and Shaw, where it was
garbage, full fantasy.
Yeah, it was The Rock and Jason Statham. They turn it into a Michael Bay film. It's like you're watching Transformers.
And to me, with Hobbs and Shaw, it almost felt, I don't want to say racist, because we had The Rock, and we all know he's from Samoa, and he's going home, and we were back on the island, and everybody's there, and they're all beefed up, big ripped ripped cats with tattoos. And I'm just like, no one sits around waiting to fight some type of elusive enemy on a weird, island situation, and they can just defend themselves. Like, come on, when did we lose the Fast and Furious part of Fast and Furious, where we were just talking about cars? Like, it was just cool to see a fucking Honda Civic souped up or a Mitsubishi Eclipse with NOS.
The Eclipse, the Subarus,
you know what I mean? We got to see
that.
Ludacris and a few others, and we were like, fuck yeah, cool people, cool cars, let's race. And now we're jumping from building to building and fucking Formula One race cars and shit. I don't know.
The genres are changing. The world is changing. It's to the extent where things that we used to like Dee had stated on how the Fresh Prince and how Will Smith was in the beginning, to where now he is now in 2020.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be the same contour, the same kind of style, because it's a different audience.
Yes.
Do you know what the difference is between millennials to boomers to
heard
Gen Z or Gen C or something like that?
I don't know. It's so many.
It's the gap in between. Like, me and you would be considered millennials, which is crazy to
Right.
sound
I
like.
hate that.
I have the mentality, and you have the mentality of a boomer.
I hate
But a millennial is between like the ages of, if you're born in like 1981 to now.
Yeah, it's something like
you
that.
would be
You're a millennial.
a millennial.
Garbage.
But my mindset, the things that I like imposed to someone that might be in a different age, they're gonna see things differently.
Always.
The concept of how everything is, how it used to be and how it is now, you have to be willing to consistently adapt to, all right, a movie that I watched, Bad Boys back in 1999 was when it first came out, to, all right, Bad Boys for Life came out in 2020.
Right.
It's such a huge time gap, and they have to find ways to implement to make things better. A lot of stuff that I was watching up on Netflix, I've been strolling through trying to find TV shows and movies and things that I can actually enjoy, and it's comes to the same concept.
They're all rehashes.
It's all rehashes.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching Supernatural.
Yeah.
Did you know that the lead, what was it, Jensen Ackles, the guy who plays Dean, Gene Winchester? You know he has a band.
What?
He has a band. I don't know what its name is, and he's the lead singer of the band. The drummer is Crowley from Supernatural, which is the King of Hell.
What?
And then the other bass guitarist was an angel in Supernatural. So you've got an angel, a Winchester, and a demon all in a band. And they sang a song called "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner, and it was fucking good.
Was it?
It was good. And it's just it's crazy that watching actors pull themselves out of how they're accustomed to acting, but hey, just so you know, I can sing too.
Yeah.
Changing, being good. How do I explain it? Being to hit a really strong belief I have. Be good at whatever you put yourself into.
Yeah.
Apply your effort in at 100% of what you feel is gonna be good. Just because I'm good at security doesn't mean that needs to be the only strength that I have.
Yeah.
I can be a talker. I can be a thinker. I can be a musician. I can be a chemist. It's just about applying 100% of you into what you think it's gonna be. Now, don't go crashing into a fucking wall at 100%. If it doesn't work, get ready to kind of back your foot off the gas and direct your car in a different direction. But don't be afraid to try new things.
Right. You know the lead singer of My Chemical Romance? Do you remember that brand?
Oh, yeah.
So the lead singer, if I'm not mistaken, and someone correct me if I got my facts wrong, but and Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
The lead singer wrote the comic books that led up to the Umbrella Academy that's on Netflix.
The Umbrella Academy that actually is on Netflix.
Yeah, that's
right
on
now?
Netflix with like Juno and everybody.
What?
He wrote the little like it's just like a little mini series comic strip.
Yeah.
And he wrote that, and I'm like, My Chemical Romance. A dude that's saying like Helena, like that's my shit right there.
You would never know.
And it's crazy because you want to see originality. As you get older, when we're young, everything's new, everything's fresh. So you don't get bored of anything because any movie you watch that you haven't seen before is automatically brand new. It's amazing. It could go either way. It could suck. It could be amazing, but it's new. Now that you're older, or now that we are older and we're seeing all the movies and even fashion, TV shows, technology, everything feels like it's just kind of like a running, cycling fashion. It's like, okay, well, we had this before and it's coming back. Why is it coming back? Oh, yeah, because we haven't thought of anything new. There should be no reason we're seeing like rehashes of old movies. Like I was saying with the old Charlie's Angels thing. Ready Player One had super huge expectations for that movie.
I never saw it.
It was nothing like I wanted it to be.
No, did it bottom out?
It wasn't that it bottomed out. It just, the premise of the movie was not how the trailers made it sound.
Oh, man.
The trailers made it seem like it was going to be like a big ass like nostalgia kick, the whole movie. And then it was just some weird bland concept of millennials. And yes, I'm saying millennials because I'm not a part of you guys.
No.
And so, we like to touch on a lot of stuff just to kind of give you guys a broad understanding of this is the stuff that goes through our minds. Like when me and Lynn get together and we just sit down and we talk, this is what we do. We bullshit. So welcome to our bullshit.
It's going to be one hell of a podcast. We're going to be hitting every nook and every cranny of every topic. We're going to be touching from high and low, whatever current events are going on, whatever life situation scenarios. I feel like me and D have a relatively balanced mindset of what we think needs to change and what we can apply our daily lives to. So I know that with time and effort, we're going to be able to get your guys' feedback, get the feeling of what you think that you would like to talk about, and use our platform in order to better the community, to make sure that everybody is being heard, or at least getting an idea of, if they see something online or see a certain feeling, that we won't be afraid to touch topics on it.
Right. And there are just certain things we're not going to talk about, like politics. Me and Lynn are, up to date on everything that's going on with the caucuses and, the State of the Union and stuff like that. We're talking about real life shit here. We're having a conversation.
Yeah, it's just a one-on-one conversation.
And we want you guys to chime in on the conversation.
To kind of get the feel of what's going on. We live in this world just like everybody else, and we hurt, we feel, we bleed, we dream, we grow,
cry.
we cry, we get bigger and better, and we want people to know that, you're not the only one feeling what you're feeling.
For sure.
That you have an opinion, and we have an opinion, and what we're going to put out more than anything is the concept of what we do on a day-to-day in order to make things realistic, in order to push through, because I've gone through my ruts and D's gone through his ruts, but no matter what, if I swear to God, I will beat this shit like a fucking dead horse.
Let's go.
Until I can't fucking function anymore, no matter how I'm feeling. And one more topic I want to hit on too.
Let's go.
What's your thoughts on what is it called, the coronavirus?
The coronavirus.
Have you heard anything about that?
I've heard everything about it, because everybody's freaking out. I just don't really care. And when I say that, I mean there's always something out there that's going to fucking kill us, man.
Try.
You know what I mean? A few weeks ago, there was that volcano that suddenly exploded on that island full of tourists, killed a whole bunch of people randomly. We're getting hit by hurricanes and tsunamis.
Australia, they had their
right. You got the fires.
They got the fire
in Australia. We have the fault lines opening up where we're having earthquakes, and the literal ground underneath the people is just giving the fuck out. So as much as I would love to talk about, the coronavirus, as far as I'm concerned, that's just another fucking thing in a long list of shit that's going to kill us. But guess what? We were here before the corona. We'll be here long after the corona. And, when the next virus that pops up, I'm going to tell you the same thing. Deal with it. You're going to get through it. Get your vaccinations. Do whatever you got to do. But live life like you always fucking have. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the coronavirus?
No, you made a solid point. There's so many different events going on with the fires in Australia and all the hurricanes and everything like that's been happening left and right. The weather's changing. We fucking had a climate drop here that dropped down to the last 2 days was in the low 30s.
It was like the day after
20s,
tomorrow.
Man, I was like, I walk outside and I could feel my feet freezing. It was getting fucking cold. Right. It was getting worse and worse.
Yeah, it was like 70 degrees, and then randomly we hit like 30 degrees with a wind chill.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what the fuck?
And, it doesn't help with how that virus does affect people. Whatever research I've done to an extent, it's just a higher version of the flu. It's the flu that I'm pretty sure originated out of China.
Somewhere in China.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. But, we've gotten cases of it in Arizona, in California, and then just recently one in, I think it was like North Las Vegas.
Something like that, yeah.
It's traveling, but it's a flu. Get your shots, make sure that you're feeling good, that you're taking all your vitamins, whatever you need to do in order to keep your body in check. Stay fucking warm, because this weather is what's weakening your immune system to get fucking sick. Don't be afraid to fucking lend out a hand, shake a hand, give a hug, just because you feel like someone might be getting sick.
Oh my God, I don't want to get infected.
Because the whole concept of this is, and which is crazy to me, is that people joke about the government that this virus or any kind of situation that's been happening. With another topic that we wanted to talk around down the road was Kobe passing.
Oh yeah,
that people think it's just another epidemic in order to make people halt their lives and growing as a person. It's like, well, fuck, this happened, so now I'm gonna have it ruin my day.
Right.
Learn from it, expect shit to change and things to happen, and grow from those incidents, but don't stop your growth just because you're afraid of this virus making you sick and that's going to be the end of your world. Or, losing a celebrity. This guy made a huge fucking impact on a lot of people's lives, which it's the same thing with when Nipsey Hussle,
yes.
Didn't know a fucking thing about him.
Nothing
whatsoever. And now I know more about that guy than I did when he was alive. It's crazy to show that when you pass and your life is at an end, you show what effects you made on everybody in your life.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to take with this, and I feel like what we're trying to teach everybody, is that make sure your life matters. So God forbid if you do pass, you leave such a good example in other people's lives that they can grow from that and pass on to the next person.
Yes.
Pass on the positivity. Pass on being optimistic.
Yes, and that's what it is. Make your life count. You're special, you're important, you're worth it. So leave behind a good legacy. Now, I know we touched on that for a hot second, but guys, we got to wrap this up. I'm going to let Lynn take it away. He's going to let you guys know exactly how you can tune into the show.
Everybody, thank you again for listening. Thank you for keeping up with this podcast. We are being covered across multiple platforms. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts with an S at the end, Breaker, Overcast, and Radio Republic. You can download them on your computer. You can download them through an app, any Android or iPhone.
Yep.
You are able to upload these things, and you can listen to our podcast every single time a new podcast drops. We are keeping this consistent. We're keeping it going. We're keeping the good vibes going. We want nothing but for everybody to feel good, do good, and push to become the better person of themselves.
Fuck yeah. Invite your friends, invite your family members, invite your loved ones. Give us a listen. Give us a shout out. We're always going to be here. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here next week. We're going to come at you with more content. Like we said before, we're working on our little spin-offs, side projects, and all types of stuff. So stay tuned. We love you guys. We hope you have an amazing evening. My name is D.
And this is Lynn.
This is Project Airwaves signing out, everybody. Keep your head in the clouds.
And keep your feet on the motherfucking ground.
Love you guys. See you next time.
Good night, everybody.